introduce you to Larry, Yolanda, and Richard from Reliance Home Comfort calling in from Mississauga, Ontario this afternoon.
Okay, I'll start. I'm Larry Bryden. I'm the Green Building Sustainable Development Specialist for Reliance Home Comfort, and I'm part of the Partners in Project Green Steering Committee, bringing our organization, Reliance, to the table. I'd like to introduce Yolanda Vanderveer, our Corporate Sales Manager. She'll get us started.
Good afternoon. Welcome to everyone here. You probably recognize the name Reliance Home Comfort. You might have seen our trucks on the road, servicing and installing hot water tanks in people's homes. What we might not know is that we also provide our services to the commercial sector. And that's really what today's discussion is about. Our piece in the commercial sector and also the Tankless portion, which we partner with Rheem Canada, one of our suppliers. We are actually more than just a hot water rental company. We have 3 different sectors. We have over 1 million residential and commercial water heaters in Ontario installed. And we're the first to introduce some new technology, solar water heating, drain water heat recovery, interesting options like that. We also have an HVAC equipment business. We have quite a bit of rental customers, about 12,000 rental customers on the residential side. We've got about 18,000 pieces of the equipment, and we have about 700 service technicians across Ontario. We have a security and monitoring company as well. You might have seen the label Protectron. That is a company that we own, and they are nationwide, servicing across Canada, a national program coast to coast with 4 monitoring stations and 600 employees. What you can see from here is that our call center handles about 3 million calls per year. Our call centers are located throughout Ontario as well as Quebec. Our service level is industry leading. We have a network of qualified licensed technicians providing guaranteed support. We handle more than about 1,000 service calls daily, and we replace about 200 hot water tanks daily in Ontario. You might not think about what hot water heaters are actually fairly complicated pieces of equipment. Hundreds of separate parts that work together to ensure that you're getting consistent hot water. They don't last forever. In fact, they last an average of about 8 years. Have you ever had a hot water tank heater serviced? Who serviced it for you? How did that go? And are they generally fast? What you don't want is, if you're in a commercial situation, you don't need the lost revenue due to downtime. So if you had to replace a tank, what would that cost? Let's look at some of these specifics, some of the parts and how much on average they cost for a repair. You can see from this chart that they're pretty expensive. What we provide in your commercial sector is that every service call is absolutely free. You don't pay extra for parts. You don't pay anything extra for the labor. And that's what the advantage is for renting through Reliance. And it makes a lot of sense. Ultimately, Reliance Rental Program helps your bottom line in a few different ways. We offer a 4-hour service guarantee to commercial customers. That's quite significant compared to our competitors. And that's 100% coverage, everything, no strings attached. And because it's new and well-maintained equipment, it's not going to surprise you with unexpected costs. And it's a higher efficiency, so you'll end up paying less in ongoing energy costs. From a cash flow perspective, renting gives you predictable monthly payments, a number you can count on with no surprises. New hot water commercial tanks typically cost between $9,000 and $12,000. And then you still have the installation cost and plus ongoing maintenance fees. Why not invest that capital into your inventory instead? When you rent from us, there's no need to come up with any upfront money. The reality is that you can move this capital, you can move from this capital side of the expense to the expense side of the balance sheet. Having your hot water tank rented, there's no financial surprises because the maintenance is built into the rental agreement. We also have a very unique program that no one else offers, and that's based on the fact that we will give you the money back for any of your newer water tanks that you have in your business already. We're not aware of any of our competitors offering this. So we give you some cash Put that in your pocket. You could spend it on your inventory or spend it on other business expenses that you might have. There's currently a lot of interest in what we call a tankless hot water system, which is really continuous hot water. These units save considerable space in a commercial establishment. They can also save energy when the application is correct. We use a number of tools to size a commercial location accurately, particularly in the food services sector, for example, restaurant peak time. We're product agnostic, but we do provide these opportunities. I'm going to hand over this time to Richard Simpson of Rheem, and Rheem's got some really interesting ways for you to look at this topic.
Thank you, Yolanda. Good afternoon, everyone. So why a tankless water heater? Why would you like to put a tankless water heater in your business? Well, what consumers and business owners alike tell us is that they never want to run out of hot water again. And with a tankless water heater, that's the kind of delivery you're going to get. You can have the comfort and peace of mind of knowing that you'll never run out of hot water again. And cost, as Yolanda indicated earlier, the cost of a commercial gas storage type water heater is very significant. You can accomplish the same thing in many instances with the use of a more cost-effective tankless system. The other great reasons for a tankless water heater system is the space saving. You can mount the tankless water heater on a wall in a void area that you don't use and free up valuable floor space, again, to maximize the revenue in your facility. Installation flexibility. Because of the size of the heater, it can be easily mounted on an outside wall, again, creating great expanses of space that you can use for more valuable production. Your direct vent. You don't need to worry about bringing in air from any other areas of your building. It's directly from the outside, and if those of you who are working with restaurants may be aware, those exhaust fans and things can sometimes create some negative air pressure environments in your building, and direct vent appliances will mitigate that problem for you. Precise temperature control. Tankless water heaters will maintain the outlet temperature to your fixtures and faucets within 1 degree of the set point. And we can provide up to 185 degrees Fahrenheit with the commercial chip in the product, which will allow you to sterilize dishes and any other sterilization needs that you might have in your business. Longer life expectancy. Obviously, we've given you a 5-year warranty, as you can see below, but we fully expect in a commercial application that we should get 8 to 10 years of good life out of these products. And of course, the better warranty versus the tank, as you can see, we're giving you a 5-year heat exchanger warranty, a 5-year parts warranty, and a 1-year labor warranty, versus the industry standard of a 3-year tank and 1-year parts warranty. Tankless or storage, you can see here from this graphic that the tank on the right, weighing 630 pounds, will give you delivery at a 100-degree rise of 193 gallons per hour. Over to the left, you'll see that each of those tankless water heaters, weighing approximately 75 pounds, when manifolded together, will give you a delivery of 720 gallons per hour at 100-degree rise. Significantly more water available to you and your facility than what a tank-type water heater can provide. We can actually manifold these units together up to the number 20. So we've had very good success with various commercial and industrial applications, as you can see from the list here. Apartments, condos, schools, plants, food service, restaurants, obviously, laundry. There are endless opportunities that you can use a tankless system in your business applications. Reduced labor and installation costs. As you saw from the earlier graphic, at 75 pounds versus 620 pounds, I don't need to send 4 men out to that job to get that system into the building. We can carry those tankless heaters in one at a time, and at 75 pounds, it's a very manageable product. Again, no need to rent a crane. Very often, to get these water heaters, the tank types where they need to go, you need the use of a crane. Simple sidewall and through-the-roof venting, which we'll look at in more detail in a moment, but it's a very versatile product when it comes to the ability to vent the product to the outside. No need to use a forklift, again, saving time and dollars in the installation process. No need to take up valuable floor space. I'll show you a really good graphic that illustrates that in a second. And 2 or more units will give you a redundant system. So as Yolanda indicated earlier, they're very sophisticated systems these days, and breakdowns do occur. And by having 2 or more units manifolded together, if one goes down, you've still got hot water available to your business. Very energy efficient. The product that Rheem's looking at today has a 94% efficiency, which is excellent payback for your business. Here's the graphic I mentioned earlier. You can see on the left that we've got a very large boiler system, quite cumbersome. And if you look to the right, we've got 3 tankless water heaters hanging on the wall, and we've freed up all that valuable floor space to be used for other storage, whatever your business needs are. Now, sizing the tankless unit is a very critical thing. It's important that we, Reliance, have a look at your existing system, the way you want to use your water, and they can make great recommendations with regards to the size and application of the system that you're wanting to move forward with. Again, tankless will maintain that temperature plus or minus 1 degree of the set point. So unlike a tank-type water heater, which as you drain water off the tank, the temperature can change as cold water enters the tank, tankless will provide that plus or minus 1 degree of the set point. So if you ask for 140 degree water, you're getting 139, 140, or 141 on a consistent basis. Now, tankless will sacrifice flow in order to maintain that temperature. By that I mean that you will have unlimited hot water, but the tank can only move so much water through and instantly heat that water as it moves past. And we'll look at sizing in more detail as we move forward. So depending on the application, you may in fact need more than 1 tankless unit based on the gallons per minute demand, but we can easily manifold those together as we mentioned earlier. So the question becomes with a tankless system, it's not just how much water do you use, but how do you use your water? And by that I mean, are we using 1 faucet at a time or 1 fixture at a time, or are we using several fixtures at a time, which increases that continuous gallons per minute demand? So the chart here will show you, and we generally in Ontario use a 43 degree groundwater incoming temperature. For most faucets or fixtures that can come in contact with the skin, we don't want to provide water more than 120 degrees. So if you follow across the bottom line, which is the delta T, 77 degree point plus the 43 degree inlet water would give you an outlet temperature of 120 degrees, and that would provide you a flow of gallons per minute of 5 gallons per minute. Now what does that mean? Well, what that means is that the average faucet, say in your home, your shower, etc., would be about 2.5 gallons per minute. So essentially you can power 2 faucets without any loss of flow with 1 tankless water heater. Now, 120 degree water is a little hot to use, so you're going to have to add a little bit of cold to that. So what we tend to say is you can get almost 2.5 gallon a minute faucets powered by 1 tankless water heater without any reduction in flow. If I was to turn on a 4 faucet, however, you would recognize a slight loss in flow in that you've now spread the amount of water available across multiple faucets. If I continue to turn on more faucets, it just continues to exacerbate that issue where the flow drops. Again, easy to mitigate that problem by manifolding units together. For tankless sizing, Rheem has a great program available on our website at rheemtankless.com. It's called Easy Spec. You can see the logo at the bottom of the slide. That's a free download. We encourage you to go to the website and access that download. It's very interactive, it's user-friendly, and it can size the system and at least give you an idea of what you're looking at with regards to how many tankless units you might need in order to supply the needs for your business. All Rheem tankless water heaters come with a remote digital thermostat. It's remote from the unit, but it does require a wire to provide power to that control. Through this control, you'll set your temperatures, again, plus or minus 1 degree at the set point. This piece of equipment also provides diagnostic information and warning codes to let you know that there may or may be a problem occurring within the system. Once you see those error codes, you quickly call your Reliance Home Comfort specialist, and like Yolanda pointed out earlier, they'll be there as quick as they can to take care of your needs. And you can get up to 185 degrees out of this unit. And so if you have any sterilization needs, the unit can provide that function for you. And one of the common things that we see with regards to tankless water heaters is the 1L code. And what that 1L code is telling you is that it's starting to sense that there's a little bit of line scale within the unit, and it's time to call and have someone flush that unit for you. So manifolding. If I have a need for, say, 10 gallons per minute of hot water, I can very easily link 2 units together by the use of what we call an Easy Link cable. So you'll see you have the remote hanging on the wall to the left, 2 tankless water heaters on the wall, and at the bottom you'll see 1 wire that connects the 2 together. I've now doubled my capacity, and it's as simple as plugging 1 wire over to the other. It's very simple,
very cost effective, very easy to double your supply ability. We can actually get you to, with as many as 20 units manifolded together with the use of what we call our MIC-S 185 controller and expansion card. So you can see again, we're only using the one remote on the wall that wires into the manifold controller, and then we run wires out to the individual units, and we can do as many as 20 in one manifold. So you can imagine, as we said earlier, if one can give me 5 gallons a minute, then 20 can give me 100 gallons a minute. And that's a significant amount of hot water that's available to your business. And again, as we mentioned earlier, some of the projects that we've done with these tankless water heaters, hotels, athletic clubs, restaurants, of course, schools, industrial process, meat packing plants, and yes, we actually did a prison in Nevada. Gas supply. Gas supply is one of the critical things. Again, tankless water heaters tend to have high DTU inputs in order to flash heat that water for you. So one of the key things in the assessment that Reliance can perform for you is to ensure that both the gas meter from your utility and the pipe within your business is sized properly in order to ensure proper gas supply to the unit. It tends to be the number one installation problem that we come across, undersized gas lines. Venting. Today's units vent with inexpensive, readily available ULCS 636 gas vent. It's a PVC or CPVC composite pipe that your contractors use on a daily basis. They're familiar with. They have it on their truck. It's a very easily accessible product. And so that you would have a new furnace or a new water heater in your home, probably are already using this type of material on other appliances within your home. Many vent configuration options which provide us with a lot of flexibility in your building. We'll look at some here in a second. Now, the unit is direct vent, and it's critical that both those pipes are used. One will bring fresh air in to feed the flame to provide the hot water, and the other one will exhaust the products of combustion to atmosphere at the external of your building. A chart here showing just how flexible the vent system can be. Rheem's very proud of the fact that on our unit you can use 2-inch pipe. It's a little bit less expensive than the 3-inch pipe, although you're slightly limited in length. If you can get it on an outside wall, you can get that venting out there by the use of 2-inch pipe. But you can see if you go to 3-inch pipe, we can get you 30 feet, and that's each of intake and exhaust pipe, with as many as 6 elbows in the system, again providing that flexibility to get the venting out of your building and customize that vent system for you. Some examples. I won't beat up on this too much, but at the top you can see a concentric system. I'll show a real-life picture of what that would look like on the outside of your building. It's very neat and clean. The B picture shows what we call our pancake termination. Very flat, very aesthetically pleasing on the side of the building, not intrusive in any way. And then the C picture is articulating that if you have a grave concern or an area where things tend to snow in the winter, which is well on its way now, we can take that pipe above that conflict and ensure that your vent system will operate properly throughout the winter months. If you need to go vertical, if this product needs to be installed in the middle of your building and you're more than 35 feet as we described earlier from the outside wall, then we can go vertical. And you can see we've got 2 pipes coming through the roof, again, one for fresh air, one to exhaust the products of combustion from the building. Something that looks a little neater yet again is the concentric termination where we've got a pipe within a pipe, and it looks a little more aesthetically pleasing, the roof penetration. So real life pictures, as I said earlier, picture of the unit installed on the left, very clean, nice white PVC pipe used for the venting. The top picture in the middle shows the tanking termination, or the flat face termination as it's sometimes referred to. Not intrusive on the side of your building, very clean look. And the bottom picture on the right is a finished look of the concentric termination, which again, a very neutral color, and looks very clean and neat on the side of your building. Maintenance. You know, maintenance on these things is not a lot. We have a water filter on the inlet side of the unit that we like to be checked after the initial installation. Sometimes some dirt and things like that in the new pipe that gets installed. And then on a monthly basis, we like you to have a look at that and just make sure it's not plugging up. Very similar to your furnace filter at home. You folks look at all the time just to make sure that you're getting good airflow through your home. This is just to ensure that the water heater is getting good flow of water in order to provide you as much water supply as we can. Okay, Delining of the tankless, which is something, is a maintenance item that may be done, generally fine on a yearly basis. Depends on the water quality that the unit is being exposed to, how hard, how much sediment, that type of thing in the water. And the temperature and the amount of use obviously affect the frequency of delining the unit. The hotter the water and the more water you use, that tends to drive more sediment out of the system, and therefore you need to deline a little more frequently. How is that accomplished? We use virgin food-grade white vinegar, and we just flush the unit, circulate that material around the unit for about an hour. This graphic just shows exactly what I was talking about previously. It's just a little flush kit. Rheem provides that. It's available through Rheem, called the Tankless flushing kit. Fill that pail up with vinegar, isolate the unit, and circulate that vinegar around for about an hour, and you'll have a fresh, clean start with the unit, ready to take care of your needs within your business yet again. How does it work? What's the process that this thing goes through in order to provide you with hot water? Well, the unit sits stagnant in a cold state. Again, the idea here is we're not storing water. That is less efficient storing water than heating water in a tank scenario. So first thing that happens is there's a demand for hot water. So either a faucet or a process application is turned on within your facility. Cold water will enter the unit. There's an impeller in the beginning of the unit that senses that flow of water. The thermistor on the inlet side measures the temperature of the water. We have a little bit of a pre-purge of the fan. It could take up to about 8 seconds, but generally takes about 2 seconds. It's relative to the length of the vent. Once that pre-purge occurs, we know the vent system is clear, and gas enters the unit, and the circuit board will give a signal to the main burner that it's time to ignite. Burner will ignite. There are very many safeties within that burner system. Monitor the quality and effectiveness of the flame. A very safe system. So now we're going to ignite a flame and start to create some hot water. At that point, if you look at your control, you'll notice that the green light is on, the priority lights, and the red candle flames are illuminated, telling us that the burner is in operation, and you should be receiving hot water to your fixtures. Okay, as that cold water becomes heated, it leaves the heat exchanger. The control board now will modulate based on the demand. So it's a fully modulating burner. So it's not always running on high fire. If your demand is very low, then it will modulate down to a lower fire, again creating energy efficiency and helping your business with your energy costs. Fully modulating, we're very reactive. As soon as you create more demand for hot water, that flame will jump back up and heat more hot water for you. As you reduce your flow, again, it will drop back down and only heat the demand that you're creating, not 100 or 200 or 300 gallons of water in a tank. The hot water temperature is constantly monitored. We discussed that earlier, that it's plus or minus 1 degree at the set point. So if you set that tankless water heater to give you 140 degree water, as it leaves, that's what you're getting, 140 degree water. It will maintain that temperature consistently and constantly. Now, as a funny aside, I left the tap running here in the building one day, and got distracted and walked away. And when I came back 3 hours later, it was still making hot water. Now, it might be funny for me, but maybe not the general manager. But anyway. Again, if necessary, if you've got the temperature turned down fairly low, we heat it a little bit hotter. So if you've got it set for 110, we heat it to 115, and then we add a little bit of cold water as it leaves the unit. That's just an internal thing. We're trying not to get the internals of the heat exchanger too cool. It's invisible to you, the user, and doesn't affect the efficiency in any way. I'll turn it back to Yolanda at this point.
The service industry doesn't generally have great customer satisfaction ratings, and that's one of the reasons that Reliance actually tracks customer satisfaction through quarterly surveys done by an independent company. Our scores are usually in the range of 8.8 to 9.2 out of a total of 10, and this is actually considered excellent by consumer groups. We've also been asked by our commercial customers to look into offering light commercial HVAC systems on a rental basis. We already provide HVAC systems to the residential market, and we're looking into providing the same great service to the commercial sector. We're currently seeking input from property managers, owners, and franchisees. And as you can see, we have a lot of happy customers. We're familiar with the needs of the industry, and our customers appreciate that. Please feel free to contact us with any further questions you may have. This last slide does have our contact information and email. And
What is a typical payback?
The paybacks, it's tough to just nail down and say there is a typical payback. The efficiency of the tankless units at a 94% efficiency would compare roughly to about 60% efficiency in a conventional storage type hot water heater. So if you were to take the efficiency as a marker for cost, you could say of every dollar spent with a tankless unit, you'll get 94 cents worth of energy out of it. With an old conventional tank, you'll get 60 cents worth of energy out of it. So your payback is really dependent on your demand. And if the tank is just being used in a bathroom application in a warehouse, that's considerably different than what the application would be in a high traffic, high volume restaurant. But the efficiency numbers are the numbers to be looking at when making decisions around the type of equipment you're moving to.
So we do have usually uses BTU. Will that mean higher gas consumption?
So no, what happens is, when you heat a tank type water heater, you've got the initial investment, if you will, in energy. So you've got to heat that 100 gallons or whatever of water. And now that it's hot, you have to maintain it's hot. So, unfortunately, it's kind of invisible to us, but while we're all sitting here today enjoying this webinar and enjoying our day at work, our tank type water heater is coming on a couple of times a day just to maintain that temperature, and we're not even there to reap the benefits of that. Whereas a tankless water heater only heats water when you require hot water, and once you satisfy your needs for hot water, and that tankless water heater shuts off, you're not spending any energy. So although it uses more BTUs to actually heat the water because you're flash heating the water, over the course of the day, you actually will use less energy because you're only heating the water when you need it, and you're not heating that water as it sits in that storage tank, using energy when you're not even there, like I said earlier, to enjoy it.
Okay, so we have another question from Junaid as well. How about electric tankless heaters?
Okay, so Rheem has a line of electric tankless water heaters. Unfortunately, we don't sell them in Canada, and the reason for that is our cold groundwater temperatures. So, you saw on the graphic earlier, 43 degree incoming groundwater, which is sort of the worst case scenario for this area for the winter, but size towards that worst case scenario. And you're going to raise the temperature 77 degrees to get to the 120. Great with gas, but what happens with electric is the infrastructure that would be required to do that, to make that delta T happen for you, or raise that water, that 77 degrees. The largest electric tankless water heater Rheem makes is a 27 kilowatt unit. It requires two 60 amp breakers, two number 6 wires, and the number 6 wire is about the size of two of your thumbs put together. And the amount of water you can put through that unit create hot water is not enough to even power one faucet. So it's just not a practical product. Now, if you were in Phoenix, where I was last weekend, where the groundwater comes into your cold groundwater hits your faucet at 80 degrees, and you've only got to raise the water 40 degrees, then there's potential for that. But unfortunately, in our climate, it just isn't a functional, practical product.
Are there any other questions from the participants? Those were quite a few good ones, Janai. Thank you for those. There seems to be no more questions. So I'd like to thank everyone who's joined us this afternoon. We do understand that you are very busy, so we thank you again. And our next webinar is scheduled for December 15th, and we hope to see you there. Have a wonderful afternoon. And thank you, Yolanda, Larry, and Richard. Have a wonderful afternoon. Bye.